team come alive here in the third quarter. Got him in that 2nd and 10 situation. Big play for them.
DeWalt dumps it to John Henry White. John Henry White gets down inside the 15-yard line, but again, another flag goes down on the far sidelines. And the indication is holding perhaps.
See this play again. John Henry White goes from here, and then he'll fake this bootleg right here, and then he'll slide out for the screen, and Al Wilson will come out and block for him. Watch it. Here's the fake. John Henry White makes the block, drops the screen. He's got Al Wilson there, but Ron Robinson is caught for holding.
2nd and 20 for the Lions. Complete to Fernandez. Down at the 6-yard line of the Stampeders. Mel Jenkins had to make the tackle on what could have been a sure touchdown for the Lions. So that ends the third quarter here at McMahon. BC lead 20. Back to Calgary's McMahon Stadium. I'm Steve Armitage along with Ron Lancaster. If you've just joined us, a very entertaining third quarter after a rather lackluster first half.
Well, I'll tell you what, DeWalt threw this football. This is one of the few that he has really just thrown it. He put it right on the money into the hole, and you see Fernandez makes the catch. They bring him down at about the 6-yard line, but that's the first pass he's really thrown with any authority. That was a well-thrown ball.
Don Matthews and the BC Lions knocking at the Calgary Stampeder door. 1st and goal to go. And the ball is spotted at the 6.5-yard line. 15,793 in attendance here at McMahon today. They were hoping for more, but I'm sure that if Calgary continue to play the way they played in the third quarter, they'll get bigger crowds. DeWalt puts it up. Touchdown! Fernandez just laid it in there perfectly.
I thought for sure when he threw the football it was too far, but the speed and the reach that Merv Fernandez had, he made it look pretty easy. He just reached up there and grabbed it like it was supposed to be. He came in, like he'll come in from his outside and he'll go toward the post, and then he breaks back, and that's the fake. That tells him to go, and watch it. Just outruns everybody. Nice and easy.
He makes it look easy. 75 yards, 8 plays, capped by a 6-yard pass to Mervyn Fernandez.
That was a big drive for the Lions, because the Stampeders had taken the play away from them in the third quarter. I believe the Stampeders made 8 first downs that quarter.
Bisaglia's convert is good, so the BC Lions go in front of the Calgary Stampeders 29-14. But don't go away. The Calgary Stampeders offense has found a way to work against the Lions defense, and they've been doing a pretty good job.
Well, you see, he is behind them. No challenge. Those nice soft hands, he just reach up and takes it.
This program is copyright and is strictly for the private use of our audience. Any reproduction, retransmission, or exhibition in whole or in part without the express written consent of the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation is strictly prohibited.
I was down on the field with you, Steve, when we were down there before the game, and those guys were out running around catching passes in the heat. I couldn't believe it. I thought they'd be in the shade, but didn't seem to bother them.
Fernandez must have been catching passes for about 20 minutes, hadn't even broken a sweat.
We'd broken one stand in there.
Jenkins has trouble at the goal line. It's out to the 10, up to the 15, and across the 20. Good return by Jenkins after a faulty start. Darnell Clash comes over to make the stop for the Lions.
A lot of times those kind of returns, when that receiver drops the ball, that's when big returns happen. 61%, that's a little bit better. He's got quite a few yards now. Eric Emery, number 35, the linebacker from Cal State Fullerton, I believe, runs a 4.6 40. He's on that special teams, and he's a pretty good hitter. Linebackers are good special teams players.
1st and 10 for the Stampeders on their own 21. Flags go down. Swing pass to Walker. Walker forced out of bounds, just shy of the 30.
Well, that one's coming back.
Nick Hebler on the field for the BC Lions.
I would say what they're doing right there, he's got a cramp. I've been wondering when this was going to start today. When the temperature is that hot and that warm, and you pound that ground for a while, those legs get a little bit tight.
Now, what do you do to try and avoid cramps for those young football players at home who have to play in the warm weather?
You have to take a lot of salt into your body, but don't take it on the day of the game. You should be building up to it like last Wednesday or Thursday.
Procedure, number 51, Calgary.
Yeah, you have to take it 2-3 days in advance. You throw it, a lot of times if you take too much salt on the day of the game, it can make you sick, especially if it's hot. Potassium, salt, stuff like that will help you. But you can still get them. If you lose a lot of liquid and do a lot of sweating in hot weather, you can still get cramps. But I knew as soon as they grabbed his foot what that one was.
Thank you, Dr. Lancaster. Cheerleaders finally got something to cheer about here at McMahon Stadium. Stampeders have come alive in the third quarter. Let's hope they can keep it going in the fourth quarter. If and when Mr. Lancaster and I make the odd mistake spotting, you can blame it on this gentleman. Art Gart's been around since they invented the game in 1895. Right?
You bet. That was his first game.
And he hasn't made a mistake since. Does a great job for us. Keeps us on top of all the plays, identifying players.
He tells me he's president of the Spotters Association. Is that right?
Yeah, I think he's got one vice president. That's
right.
Mo Simovich. First and 15 for Calgary from their own 16. Fires into the middle, but he's met there immediately by two members of the BC Lions front four, led by Kevin Konar.
For it.
Just cramps.
Well, you heard Nick say that it was nothing more than cramps.
So she can kick her boyfriend out of bed.
And I'll censor the last bit. Joe Barnes scrambling. Looking for Tolbert. Tolbert was tripped up, and a flag goes down. Mel Bird got in the way of Emmanuel Tolbert as he went to get to that pass from Joe Barnes.
Yeah, Joe had a lot of room scrambling, and he threw the ball to Tolbert on the run, and I think Mel Bird tripped on the artificial turf, and as a result, he drops him. Well, you see, Bird's chasing them. They tripped one another, but I do think Tolbert could have caught the football. It's a good call.
13-19 remaining to play in the game. BC lead 29-14, but the Stampeders are on the march. First and 10. A swing pass to Walker. Picks up a yard or two. Joe Barnes has now attempted 38 passes, completed 24 for 299 yards and one interception. Barnes under pressure. He gets away from two, but he can't get away from James Quick Parker. Always dangerous whenever he gets into the offensive backfield.
They forced Barnes to turn and go back the other way, and when he did, he couldn't go anywhere there, and Parker was coming right up the middle and sacked him. That's 6 sacks today for those Lions. They had 14 coming in. It's now 20.
And I wonder if Parker is suffering from the same problem that Nick Hebler has, and that is cramps. They have been very active out there for the Lions, and it is very warm.
You watch, see, Joe tries to come this way. Watch, he'll have to turn and go the other way. And he's caught over there. Now, there's Parker. As soon as you see number 31, Konar, forced Barnes to pull up, that's when Parker's there to make the sack. I think this could go clear back to that injury that Parker had earlier in the game. He might have got kicked on that leg again.
Well, Hebler's on his feet on the BC Lions bench, so I expect we can expect to see him back in the game.
I would think so.
And Parker hobbles off. And while he's doing that, we'd like to pass along a special thank you to public relations gentlemen associated with both the Calgary Stampeders and the BC Lions, Tom Thompson and Josh Keller, for their help over the last couple of days in preparing for this game. Thank you, gentlemen. 3rd and 20, a punting situation for the Stampeders. Clash at his own 35.
Better be careful over here.
Clash with that little move. Gets down inside the 50-yard line of the Calgary Stampeders, but a flag goes down. So with 12:20 to play, BC continue to lead 29.
Rough Riders home to the Calgary Stampeders at 1:30 Eastern.
Next Sunday, Ronnie, you'll be in Ottawa watching this ball club, the Calgary Stampeders, against the Rough Riders.
Yeah, 2 run-and-shoot clubs going to play one another next week. We'll see which one. You know, talking to Steve Barato the other day, he felt that the advantage Calgary might have had over Ottawa was that Joe Barnes knew the run-and-shoot, where Joe Moss going to Ottawa had to teach the quarterback and the receivers. He just had to concentrate on receivers. Anyway, they're going to face one another in the nation's capital. We'll be there.
Right now, the BC Lions, 1st and 10, 12:20 remaining to play. They lead 29-14.
You know, and after that win the other night so convincingly that the Ottawa Rough Riders got them, when you have a bunch of young guys and they get believing in themselves, they can be awful tough.
Should be an entertaining game if the Calgary Stampeders can generate the same kind of offense that they've got going for themselves in the second half. But it's BC Lions on offense right now to get to Keevan Jenkins. Jenkins tries to get to the 30-yard line. He's stopped a little short of that.
You see the play they ran right there is the play that they had been faking before to throw that screen pass off. It used to be the case in football, you ran a play to set up a pass. Now you run a pass to set up a run. That's the first time they've ran that particular play.
2nd and 6 Lions from their own 29. DeWalt under pressure early, throws it out of bounds, intending it for John Pankratz. Calgary had the rush coming that time.
Boy, they sure did. Morrison and Larry Hogue, the inside safety, were both coming, and DeWalt didn't have a chance.
Pasaglia can get this punt away from his own 20. Taken by Cox inside his own 35. He trips up by himself and gets out across the 35 at about the 38-yard line before he's finally stopped. Ryan Potter in there to make the tackle. So with 11 minutes and 5 seconds remaining to play in the game, Calgary down 29-14. Can they continue to generate offense that they got going in the third quarter?
Well, they're only 15 down with a lot of time. Last night, if you were watching that game last night, Huffnagel and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers put a few points on the board late. So, you know, you have a lot of time left. It's just that he's got to, you know, get things going again, get a drive together.
Barnes pumps once, intended that for Walker. But Walker went down.
He was going to fake that little slant in pattern to Cox and try to get Lewis Walker going downfield deep. But whether he was knocked down or tripped, either way, he was on the ground when the ball went by him. James Parker doing a little work, taping his ankle right over the shoe. All right, Joe, this is designed to be thrown quick. The pump, now he should be gone. Now, by the time he lets it go, takes a pretty good shot. There's that big guy in there, Napier-Kowski.
There was a little nudge.
Little nudge. Hey, quarterbacks go down at those little nudges.
2nd and 10, Calgary. Barnes fires complete to Cox. Cox took it at the 46, knocked back to the 45. Darnell Clash in to make the tackle for the Lions.
Well, Cox went down the field about 10 or 12 yards, and he came back, and when he made the catch, he's going to come up almost 2 yards short. And for a receiver, you don't do that. You've got to get that first down on the 10 yards, you got to get 10. Well, let's see if they kick it. No, Joe's staying out there. Barnes and the offense in there. See Petros, number 12, go in with the play from the bench, so we'll see what happens.
Well, you're 3rd and 2. You're trailing by 15, so I think you pretty well got to go with it. 9 minutes and 45 seconds to play, although that is a lot of time.
It's a lot of time, and I think he's got a lot of confidence in his defense.
The pitch to Walker. There's a hole, and they've got the first down. Well, that was a big hole.
That was an excellent running play. I mean, it was well executed. Watch number 12, Petros. He's going to be the lead man. He kicks out. Then they turn up right there inside of number 59 for Calgary. He was Bob Lubig, who's the veteran offensive lineman up there. 8 years with him. He gets the first down.
Barnes passing, intending it for Dwight Edwards, but it was over the head of Keith Gooch, the defender.
He tried to hit. Edwards went down the field and was going to run a curl, and then he was going to go. And Joe threw it deep, but Dwight didn't give a very good fake on it, and Gooch didn't go for it. Had him covered all the way. You know, when you're going to run any pattern like that, you've got to fool the defensive back. And the only way you can fool him is to run the pattern properly, and he didn't do it.
2nd and 10, Calgary. Barnes brought down. Again, the BC Lions front four doing their job. Rick Klassen and Nick Hebler getting in to put the stop on Joe Barnes.
Well, what can we say? Nick Hebler's played well the entire day, and him and Klassen, that front four has done a great job for him all year. No reason to stop now. You know they're getting a little warm. Those helmets are coming off awful fast.
Third and 15 facing the Stampeders. An obvious punting situation. Good punt by J.T. Hay. Clash will take this just outside his own 10. One good move. Another move inside. Finally runs out of moves and runs into red sweaters, brought down just shy of the 25-yard line. 8:12 remaining to play in the game here in Calgary. The Stampeders trailing the BC Lions by a score of 29-14.
Your dreams for the future are important. Share yours with Transamerica Life. What's your dream, Simon Scott?
I'd say financial stability. I want to know my
The
family.
CFL, of course, will have the first televised game for you on Thursday night. The Bombers at Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton, and that should be an interesting one. Of course, our second televised game will be Calgary at Ottawa. 1st and 10 for the BC Lions. Keevan Jenkins flagged down on the play. Darrell Nicholson in to make the stop for the Stamps.
Legal procedure. BC no end. Decline. 2nd down.
No wonder they didn't have an end on that side of the field. All the receivers who were on our side of the field, I was counting them. I wondered what happened, but there was no one on the other side at all. And you have to have an eligible pass receiver on the line of scrimmage. And the first guy that referee saw was the tackle, and he's ineligible.
Head coach Don Matthews didn't seem too overly concerned about it. DeWalt dumps it to John Henry White up the middle. And he's short of the first down. Darrell Nicholson in to make the tackle.
He looked outside to John Pankratz, but Richie Hall was right with him step for step. So then he went to his, that's the secondary receiver, John Henry White. He checks that linebacker, and if he doesn't come, then he just leaks out over the middle and hopes to find an opening.
Mr. Reliable, John Henry White, does a tremendous job blocking for the BC Lions. And when he's called upon, he can come up with a catch. Jenkins and Cox deep to receive this punt from Louis Pasaglia.
Boy, that's pretty.
Great punt. Jenkins Misplays it. Bouncing around out of bounds. It goes out of bounds at the 7. So the Calgary Stampeders will have less than desirable field position when they scrimmage 1st and 10.
That was a pretty punt by Pasaglia. That 69-yarder he just hit was a tighter spiral than a lot of quarterbacks throw.
He is averaging just over 50 yards a punt this afternoon.
Well, I think he's coming on. The legs are starting to feel better now. Early in the year, he was having a little problem with his hamstrings, and I think it must be straightened out because he sure is hitting them.
A 10-year veteran, a graduate of SFU, and he can also pass. He was a quarterback in college.
And he was a pretty good one.
Yeah, he was.
I watched him play on film when he was Simon Fraser.
1st and 10, Calgary. From their own 7. Barnes wants to go long. Cover's open. And at the last second, Kevin Konar got over there and knocked it down.
Well, that's that play Steve was telling us about. Coach Braddock was telling about before the game. If there was ever a chance that he could get Emmanuel Talbot man-on-man with a linebacker, he could outrun him. And you see he got behind Konar, and at the last minute, Konar turned and hit the ball. But, well, you know, no linebacker should run with Emmanuel Talbot. He's awful fast. And Konar played that about as well as you can. And he was beat and still knocked it down.
Especially at this stage in the ball game, it being so very warm out there. 2nd and 10 for Calgary. Barnes in trouble. And he's dropped at the 2-yard line. He ends up back in the end zone, but they marked that he was brought down at the 2. Mike Gray, number 77 of the Lions, getting in there to put the stop on Barnes.
Well, it looked like a meeting at the quarterback. I saw 3 white jerseys all hit Joe Barnes at once. I know the first guy to hit him was 77 Gray, but I think Klassen and Hebler also arrived. We'll get a good look at it. Mike Gray is the defensive tackle. Big man comes up the middle. He'll be the first one there. 1. There's Klassen. And there's Hebler going to finish it off. 3 out of the 4.
Michael Gray, one of the big stories for the BC Lions so far this season. J.T. Hay punting from deep inside his own end zone. It's a low punt away. Taken by Clash. He's at the 35, still on his feet, looking for running room outside. Finally brought down just outside the 25-yard line, and he's mad. He probably thought he could go all the way into the end zone. 6:06 remaining to play. BC in front, 29-14.
Joyce.
No way, Uncle.
But it's your wedding day.
And what did my millionaire uncle get me?
A super lotto ticket.
They're in front by 15, and they're threatening to make it more. They have a 1st and 10 situation from the Calgary 26-yard line.
Defense versus the pass, they have 4 interceptions, only giving up 3 touchdowns. High percentage. That's okay. You know, like, these good defensive football teams will give you that little short pass on 2nd and long yardage, force you to kick the football. So you really can't pay a whole lot of attention to pass percentage completions anymore with the way the game has changed.
It's a tough way to do it, Ronnie, but you're going to lose a lot of weight on an afternoon like this afternoon. Very, very hot. We're seeing players sweating very heavily on the bench.
And one of the sure giveaways is Tim Cowan is into the ball game now, but one of the sure giveaways on the sideline are the players are actually sitting on the bench. They're usually standing, but when it's hot like that, they need the rest.
I think I'd be lying under the bench trying to catch some of the shade. Tim Cowan in a quarterback for the BC Lions. 5:59 remaining to play. BC in front, 29-14. Cowan to Sandusky, but he traps the ball. It's incomplete.
Ball was thrown a little bit low. Sandusky was definitely open. That's pretty good stats there versus Calgary last year, but he had some awful good stats down at the first league game in Hamilton against the Tiger Cats in their opener. He was 25 for 36 in that football game and 5 touchdowns.
He would have to be considered right now one of the best backup quarterbacks in the CFL. 2nd and 10 BC on the Calgary 26. Flag goes down. Cowan hit just as he unloaded. Bernie Morrison coming on the blitz.
Got a flag on the play. Pankratz is a little slow getting up. In fact, he's not up yet, but Bernie Morrison put the hit on him. Talking to the Lions, it must be against the Stampeders.
I think John just wanted to rest.
Well, I could understand that. Those pass receivers on a hot day, they've run a long way.
Offside, 27 Calgary. Second down.
Well, you don't want to give a team a second chance when you're trailing 29-14. They would have been third down. They'd have had to do something.
The time remaining. BC in front, 29-14. 2nd and 5. Cowan intending that for Pankratz, and he can't reach it. Incomplete. That's Roy DeWalt under the towel. And that brings on Louis Pasaglia, who will attempt a field goal.
A 28-yard attempt can put him up 18 if he makes it.
Point of the ball game for Louis Pasaglia, and the BC Lions go in front of Calgary 32-14 with 5:02 remaining to play. Oh boy, this is going to be a tough one in which to pick Kearney O'Keefe sports game stars. What do you think?
I'll tell you, it's at least defensively, you know, the BC Lions have played well. The Calgary Stampeder defense has played extremely well as a unit. But individually, there hasn't been anybody really stand out, and you can't pick 12.
I pretty well made my decision defensively, but I'm having trouble offensively.
Yeah, that's a problem, too, because it's been the defense has dominated the first half of the game.
1st and 10, Calgary. Complete to Tolbert, and Tolbert out of bounds at the 42. 4 minutes and 42 seconds to play. BC in front, 32-14.
Still in that hurry-up offense. Don't give them a chance to get their breath.
2nd and 3. Complete to Walker. And Walker just bulls his way over the 50-yard line.
Well, Konar come up to make the tackle as quickly as he could, as quickly as possible, but Walker just got that head and shoulders into him, and he fought for that first down and shoved Konar backwards.
Boy, you like to see that kind of effort this late in the ball game, and you're down 32-14.
Well, the thing about it, you can be losing and you can be down, but you still got to hustle, and this is hustle by Walker, as you say. Watch, gets the shoulders down, and now he just shoves Konar back like bulldogging in rodeos.
1st and 10, Calgary. Barnes, careful. Wide to Tolbert. And you're right, he had to be careful, because if he'd have thrown that one any higher, Bird might have picked it off. A flag is down on the play.